Hello, hello. What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here to revisit and review the Bourne Supremacy. Yes, this is the 2004 sequel to The Bourne Identity, once again based on the novel with the same name, but this time it's directed by Paul Greengrass, who pretty much became the director from now on of this franchise. The plot is we see Matt Damon once again as Jason Bourne. He's sort of living happily ever after with his girlfriend Marie from the first movie. They're in a different country. They're off the grid. They're trying to stay off the grid anyways until they get found out. Of course, it was bound to happen eventually. An assassin comes after them. So Jason Bourne, he has to stop this. He has to put an end to it. He can't live any life, let alone his life, until he puts an end to Treadstone, this government agency who won't stop in trying to kill him. Now, what I think of the Bourne Supremacy is I very, very much enjoy this film. I do. Now, do I like it more than the first movie, The Bourne Identity? I don't know if I could say I like it more, because the first movie was more about story, a lot of backstory, a lot of setting up of who Jason Bourne is and what the rest of this franchise would be. But this movie is either just as good because it does things a little differently. Sure, you do have a lot of character moments. You do get a lot of story moments. Like at the beginning, seeing Matt Damon as Jason Bourne just dealing with almost like PTSD. He's having these nightmares and these visions and dreams of missions, of people that he killed. And it's something that, sure, any soldier could have PTSD and could be going through that. But the fact that he doesn't remember this stuff, like it's coming to him and it's jumbled flashes, he can't quite make sense of it. And since he doesn't remember being that person, it's just a whole lot of fucked upness going on in his head. And you see his girlfriend, Marie, once again played by Franca Potenti, and I still like her here. She's there for him, like when he's going through all of that. She's trying to help him out. She almost doesn't know what to do, but she's there. And then, a little bit of a spoiler, but it happened so early in the movie that I don't mind talking about it because I want to talk about it. They kill Marie very early in this movie, and I almost hate that. I do, because she was such a big part of the first film. For a lot of the movie, you're with her and you're on her side. You get where she's coming from. They throw hints to her past and how she's not maybe the most clean-cut person out there. And so you hope to get more of that. You hope to maybe find out more about her as a character, but they kill her off. And some would say that that's fridging her character, meaning you kill her off to sort of build off momentum for Jason Bourne. And in some ways, I hate that. In some ways, I'm like, they could have done more with this character. I like this actress. I wish that they didn't kill her off. But maybe you could argue that there wasn't a lot more for her to do as far as the story goes. We have to remember that this is Jason Bourne's story, that we are following him and him trying to get to the bottom of everything. So maybe in some sense, for him to come out of, quote, retirement, out of this different country where he was hiding out, maybe something like this had to happen to get him back in the game, to get him back against the agency. So I get it, I do. As a story, it makes sense. I just hate the scene when it happens. Also, though, her death is shot very well. When she gets shot, they crash into the water. They're underwater, and he's desperately trying to like get her, but she floats away. Like it's shot really well. So I guess I have to give it that. As far as the other characters, we have Joan Allen, who plays Pamela Landy, and she's a part of the CIA government agency, but she doesn't know about Treadstone. So she almost gets assigned this mission when somebody tries to frame Jason Bourne as if he killed two people and tried to steal all these secrets. That's how she gets wind of all of this. That's how she gets thrown into this, finds out about Bourne. So she spends a lot of the movie thinking that Bourne is just this rogue assassin who's killing people and doing whatever he wants. So that's how she gets involved. She's not like an evil person. I thought that was interesting. But Brian Cox is back in this movie, and he is who he is. He's the dirty agent, a part of this, who is desperately trying to cover his tracks, trying to keep everything a secret, but you could tell he's getting sloppy, and it's not really going well. Carl Urban plays an assassin in this film who gets hired to take out Jason Bourne. In fact, he's the one who kills his girlfriend at the very beginning, and I almost forget that Carl Urban is in this movie. It's very cool to see him play this type of character, like the silent killer type, but also because the first movie had a couple of different assassins, like 2 or 3, that were all hired to kill Bourne, and they all failed. And that's good to set up Bourne as a character of being a badass and that he's not easy to kill. But I like that the second movie kind of stuck with one assassin. The fact that this guy is good at his job, the fact that he might have thought that he killed Bourne, but once he finds out that he didn't, he's right back on it, and he comes probably the closest from taking Bourne out. You get Julia Stiles back in this movie, and she's pretty much, after the first film, she kind of got out of this Treadstone, and she's doing her own thing, but she gets drugged back into it because of her involvement with Bourne. She has a really good scene where Bourne is trying to get information out of her, and he's getting really frustrated and angry. He has a gun pointed at her head, and she's just freaking out because she doesn't know what to say. She's telling him the truth, and he's not really believing it. You get really small, almost cameo appearance from Michelle Monaghan. She's just at the agency, one of the few people that's on the computer finding out information and stuff. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, is that Michelle Monaghan? Wow, how random. And we have Doug Ray Scott, who plays another sort of agent of Treadstone, one of the last of those agents, and he has a really good scene with Bourne. Really like seeing him here, and then the hand-to-hand fight that they have, especially the fight starts off with Doug Ray Scott's hands being tied up, but he's still good enough to take the fight to Bourne. Really awesome. Like, I love the choreography. I love just how awesome these fights are. They're all practical. Like, there's no CGI in this movie, and this is coming into the point where superhero movies are just becoming popular. So maybe you could say that, yeah, this is one of the few last practical, straightforward action films that were smart and good and whatnot. All of that is true, but there's just something about seeing two guys fist to fist, beating the shit out of each other, and looking rough and raw. I love that. Speaking of practical effects, practical action, there's a car chase in this movie that I said the first movie had a great car chase. This one is better. And it's better because it's longer, because there's a lot more elements to it. You see Jason Bourne at his most vulnerable because earlier in the movie he's being chased by cops and he jumps off of the bridge onto one of the transporting boats and he fucks up his leg. Like, it's not just an action movie where the hero is invincible and he can jump off high and just land on his feet like nothing. No, he fucks up his leg. The rest of the movie he's limping. And then he has this car chase where like a bunch of cops are following him. Carl Urban is following him. He's been shot, so he's bleeding everywhere, and he's fucked up. And that's what I love. I love seeing Jason Bourne vulnerable. That's something different for your hero in a big action movie like this. So all in all, you get some story progression with finding out a little bit more about Bourne's past and how all of this started. Obviously, you know that the third one's coming, so you're not going to get the complete story, but I think it's enough. Great action. There's enough here to warrant the sequel, and the fact that I think it's pretty damn good. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Bourne Supremacy, the sequel? Do you like it better than the Bourne Identity? Is it your favorite in the franchise? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!